I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the most haunted city on earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And today we have a very fun episode for y'all. We are going to be unboxing a haunted doll today. And we are actually here with the people who acquired this haunted doll. We have Unsettling Toys with us, which is super exciting. Hello, y'all, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, and I'm Sara.
Awesome. So before we open the doll, let's kind of talk about what y'all do. So give us kind of an overview of your position, if you will, and kind of how you got into this particular line of work.
Okay. We didn't expect it to take off quite like it did. It started a little bit with a sense of humor, a little tongue-in-cheek. Brian just had the idea, there should be a company that takes dolls from the people who are horrified by them and gets them to the people who want to be horrified by them. So we started it up, made a website. It was actually a birthday present for Brian.
I was gonna say it was. I was turning 50, and Sara always gives the most amazing gifts, and this is the gift that keeps giving. She set up everything, website and all the social media stuff, and awesome business cards.
Oh my gosh.
It was me for my 50th birthday. I was running around all over town just handing business cards out for something we had.
I regretted the business cards so hard for a while there.
Yeah. I get really excited about things sometimes.
But what we didn't expect was we got the website up and we got the Instagram up, and then haunted dolls started showing up at our door, almost immediately. We had no idea it was such a needed service. And we never knew what was going to be at the door.
Yeah, I feel like once you put the call out for haunted objects, they will flock to you immediately, whether you want it or not.
I concur.
Yes.
It's definitely happening. But that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
It was right before the pandemic, and it's just it's been a great ride. It's fun. It's super fun.
Brian was a skeptic when we started.
Wow.
Sure.
And now they're just chasing me all over the place.
What changed your mind?
Just reading, the great thing about, I think that, and the most fun part is hearing all the stories that people submit with their doll or toy or whatever, and I think that and just little odd whispers, in the night.
Fried electronics. Sure. He had a couple fried electronics that convinced him real quick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. A car window that would roll down when an object was in the car, and just little itty bitty things that then they just add up.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that will make a believer out of anybody, for sure. I swear they always go for the electronics, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have one that's especially hard on electronics.
His upstairs neighbor got really mad at him once because it was getting her electronics.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, sharing walls with anyone is a tricky move when you have haunted objects.
That's definitely. So I'm out of there. Not haunting other people, I suppose.
Fair enough. So has there been an object in particular that y'all found more active or just more notable in general?
Yeah, there's been a couple where if sometimes you get one and things happen, like my kids will have nightmares, or like I got one and like things in my kitchen started exploding.
Oh,
And
wow.
when that happens, something really scary happens, then we just send it for free. We have 3 different experienced practitioners and they want them and I do not want them. And so when the really scary stuff happens, we actually have a small team of people who pride themselves on being able to handle that sort of stuff.
You absolutely need that. We're learning that too here. It's just like you got to have the person you call because you may be prepared, but somebody is trained for it. Somebody has
Right.
the inside track on how to handle certain things. There's only
We
so
cannot
much
be
YouTube
the
will
last
explain.
stop.
Not the last stop when it comes to a mean ghost.
Exactly. So, what was the story behind Belle? Is that the
Belle?
doll's name?
Yes. Oh, Belle. All right. So she actually came to us from England, from someone who's very experienced in collecting dolls. Like, this is a person who would know a haunted doll if she saw one. And she actually found her in a thrift store and said that she felt Belle when her back was turned and was like, oh my gosh, and brought her home. And I guess just like a lot of heaviness, just like angry. Like when she first brought Belle home, Belle was kind of disheveled. Her hair was not really on, like she was not having a good minute. And as Belle apparently likes to be kept respectfully, and she fixed her hair, she fixed up her clothes, got her in good shape. That's something she was very adamant that we share with you, is that she must be kept somewhere where she can see, somewhere where no one's in her space, and with her hair brushed-ish. So
Pretty much how I like to be kept.
Yeah.
Sure.
just set you up in a case.
Prominently displayed. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so Belle's been with us for a little while, over a year, I think, and was actually adopted once by someone who was interested in, having an item with some sort of attachment. And, usually we try really hard to fit people with an object that like will be appropriate for their level of experience. We underestimated the intensity of Belle, and luckily it was a local person, and Belle came back the next morning.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They were like, no, and swapped out for a much gentler toy.
Sure.
There you go. It's nice to know that there is a scale, a sliding scale of 1 to wicked kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Perception. Yeah.
I love that.
And then we have a psychic that unfortunately doesn't live here anymore, but used to love to come and just like go through the collection and touch the things and learn about them. And she immediately was like, what is that? Like, so Belle has drawn attention, like just with no prepping, from at least 3 different people. Like, she's very intense. I'm going to be really excited to see what you guys think when you meet her, and see if you guys get a feeling, similar to the person who tried to adopt her or similar to her original owner. We're really excited for you to meet her.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, and we're lucky enough because the kind of attention that has generally come through already, and we're in soft open, so we're not fully open, but we've had nice little crowds every weekend come through. They're an inquisitive bunch, so they're not. At least we haven't reached the point where it's just like gawkers. It's like people who are very respectful thus far. So I think that she's going to fit just perfectly in.
Good. I hope so. I hope she'll be happy. And that was something the psychic said, is that a placement in a family with a lot of people, so that she won't be so focused on just one person.
Sure.
And
Sure.
Right.
when we heard about you, we were like, oh, many people.
Yeah. Man.
That's fantastic. Yeah, she's going to be in good company. We have some fellow prima donna spirit dolls, and so
We have a couple that are very attention hog spirits.
So she'll have friends, at least. But
They can all compete.
Right,
exactly.
Take notes at the end of the day.
So I see that there is a giant red wax seal on the box. for those of you who are just listening to us. So is this just for
that's a lovely
aesthetic
seal.
purposes, or did y'all put any sort of intention behind this? Is supposed to like keep anything in the box?
No, I think aesthetic, but I give a little prayer every time I try to do the seal just to make sure.
Sure. Well, and that's all it is. Just a little intention.
Right.
You put a little intention on any activity you do, and it carries a lot of weight. It does. It's a cute seal too.
It is very cute. It feels spooky. It feels like this is a spooky box. It's
warning you.
Exactly.
Sarah came up with that. I think it's a great.
It is. It's a perfect signature for.
Brian, do you have Creeperton? Brian,
I do. Oh yeah.
You pulled him up. Look, you guys, it's him.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was our very first.
How I see it now. Yeah, it's your logo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
that's Creeperton.
Is a very unfortunate thing. Is it a rabbit?
It is. I think at one point it was supposed to be.
Because it also looks like just a deranged chihuahua. If it weren't for the carrot, I would have. Yeah.
It kind of does.
Many things. But it is a rabbit. And, but
yes.
As indicated by the carrot.
So
for those of you who are just listening, they're holding up the inspiration for their logo, and it is a very frightful looking thing because the way the teeth are exposed, and the way the eyes are just kind of shock wide open, it's almost designed to creep you out.
But it's not. It was handmade.
Oh no, it's obviously like an ornament or something to that effect.
He has magnets on the back of him. He's meant to be slapped on a fridge. I think.
Cute. See, yeah.
I would never eat again.
Literally.
It's a dietary. It's for diets. You go up to the refrigerator and you're just like, on second thought, I'll just,
It literally looks like if you put a bunny into Pet Cemetery, that's what you would get.
Right, you get
it's
very shocked bunny coming at you.
Little devil gets inside that thing.
Mm-hmm. What's the story behind Creeperton? How did he appear?
Right after Brian had the idea for the business, but before I'd actually started any of it, I was helping one of my dear friends clean out her mother-in-law's home. Her mother-in-law had passed and they had all been living in the same home and they were like, all right, we have to move out. And we were like working together to clean it out. Creeperton was under her son's bed. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, I have no idea. I've never seen that before. So we asked the kid and he's like, I have never seen that before. So we asked her husband and he had never seen it before. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to throw it away. So I threw him away. Yeah, I threw him away. And then I kept thinking, I'm like, Brian had this idea. Then I said, can I have the scary bunny? And she says, please take the scary bunny. And so I went back to the trash bag and he wasn't in it. Oh. And we found him for real on the stairs to the boys' bedroom. Like, I know he must have just him fell out or so. I still have never made sense of that. But he wasn't in the bag and he was back up in the steep because they were kind of in a attic-y area and he was on the steep stairs. And it was just the weirdest thing. And I was like, all right, I guess this is our mascot because like it was such a weird story to start on,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the perfect first acquisition for your company.
Absolutely. Yes.
Shall we break into the Belle box?
Let's see what.
All right. Y'all need a knife?
We
Possibly.
probably do.
All right, coming at you.
It is so well wrapped. This is
There was
obviously
no escaping happening.
Yeah, no one's getting away. That's for sure.
I'm excited to see her.
We're really excited too.
She has an
Here's to see what
uncanny
you're gonna notice
gaze. Close that.
All right.
I want to preserve the seal.
It's a box. Right.
I still need it.
We might.
So one thing that I have learned a lot about dealing in haunted artifacts is they're oftentimes just really well packaged. That's really the
As they should be.
it's like And we've come to the distinction that bubble wrap will stop the devil himself, because even the most like tremendously haunted artifacts from the wilds of Africa or the exotics of Thailand come in bubble wrap, and I'm like, oh wow.
Except for the haunted mirror.
Amazing.
Well, actually, the haunted mirror had bubble wrap.
Well, it didn't stop that
It did
demon.
not stop the demon.
That's a story for the fix, y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, here we go. Aw,
Definitely right.
there is a lovely thank you card. Thank you so much. Thank you card.
thank y'all.
And we're learning to love the doll stands. Doll stands are our best friends. There seems to be a lovely accessory pack full of your stickers.
Oh, cute.
Which we will proudly display in the museum gift shop and explain that if anyone is looking for their own horror, they can reach out to you and arrange for something. So, okie dokie. Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Ooh.
She's here.
I'm gonna move the box. Here we go. Ah, yes.
Look at that.
There we go.
Our creepy Cabbage Patch Kid.
I do love the concept of an adoption service for haunted dolls.
I do too.
That's just a lovely concept.
Oh, no, that's her dress.
Oh, she is wrapped in like a black velvet. That's nice.
It is very nice.
So it's foreboding before we've even uncovered her.
Oh Lord.
She definitely has the idea that this is not what you want to see just in the corner of the room.
No.
She's giving Hatman vibes right now.
Yeah.
All
She
right,
just
here
learned.
we go. Cute little feetsies.
Oh.
And oh.
Oh, hold on. We have to fix her hair. She's upset about that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to get a bobby pin or something.
Yeah, your hair is
It's tufted.
Got a cowlick.
Yeah.
Although I guess we could.
I think she's supposed to have this little fringe.
You get some bedhead,
All right,
when
I'm gonna
you're
zoom in on
traveling.
the camera 1 second.
Yes.
If you, oh, it's interesting. She has the hunch, the doll hunch, which we kind of talk about. It looks like she's ready to lurch. She's prepared for action. Her shoulders are up, her arms are out. She is surprisingly solid, like stiff. If you want to give her a
Yeah, if you
a
look
feel.
at her in profile, she's really quite frightening.
She's got that come at me, bro, kind
Yeah.
of energy going on.
She really does. She has a very stern energy to her, which is interesting because she is a little girl in
Right.
the body, but she does not give little girl energy.
No, she does not. And her eyes are very penetrative. Like you feel them kind of boring, into you.
She has a little necklace on, which is interesting. It looks handmade, which is a interesting choice.
Always, yeah.
But,
Mylea says that she is a cutie patootie.
oh, yep. You hear that, Belle?
I go by cutie and patootie. Her head is strangely attached. Like
We tried to adjust her posture when we got her. We thought it might have been a problem with the shipping, but
Sure.
that is how she wants to be.
No,
There's-
yeah, her body is rigid in that sense. Like you can't really change her stance or how she feels.
It seems like you should be able to. Like you
It
should
does.
be able to adjust
Right.
her
Because
up
her
and down.
head's kind of loose, so you're imagining that there's a place where it makes sense that it would move, but it does not.
No.
She kind of gives me the energy of a stern grandmother. You
Well,
know?
it is that profile that I'm coming for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what we got too. But let me tell
Apple
you,
Jackson's
the person
a
who kept
bulldog
her
stand.
overnight,
Yeah.
the person who kept her overnight was terrified. She did not go into the details of what all happened, but she was terrified.
Right. I don't want to squish you. We're not binding you. This is
just
a
merely
little stand.
assistance.
It's just so you can stand. Oh wow. She's she's a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a lot of character to her.
Does she move?
Um,
Well, not like in her physical body,
Yeah.
but like in like a paranormal way. Does she move places?
We haven't seen her move. I think she's more of a starer, but I would not
Sure.
put it past her.
yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, there is give in her head, but there's no play. Like it will
Right.
not stay in any other position than the one it's in. And her feet are pointed in strange ways.
They are.
Like you would think that you could turn it at the hip, but you can't. It's very solid. You'd think that
My
you
daughter
could.
says she reminds her of Sadako from The Ring.
Yes, absolutely. If the hair was hanging in front of the face, yeah,
Absolutely.
because that's the body position is.
Yeah.
You
The look.
Yeah.
know, yeah.
And it looks like she had like a homemade haircut at some point as well.
And so this doll collector in England who had this, sense of what is and isn't haunted. Do you have an ongoing relationship with this doll
We do.
Yeah.
collector?
Yeah.
We do. We had to, as you know, it took us a while. We had to get clearance
Yes,
from her to
right, of course.
approve placement
Yeah.
for Belle. Yeah, because she sends us all sorts of. She's absolutely a fascinating collector and has
Sure.
all sorts of good things, and sometimes has one that needs to come to us.
Oh, sure. There you go.
Wow. So so I know you said that the person who had her for the first night didn't go into an intense amount of details, but what were some of the things that they reported with her?
She said that when it got dark, like in the middle of the night, she was just very awake and like paralyzed with fear. You know how like when you feel something's like gonna jump at you. Have you ever had like a really bad night like that?
Oh, sure.
I guess it was like the worst one of those ever. She was just like
Geez.
terrified. And she said even turning on the light didn't help.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, she definitely does give the vibe that you don't want her standing in the corner of your room.
No, and it's fascinating too because there's a lot of elements when you're looking at her that you're imagining that she's a doll in the sense of arms attached to body, legs attached to trunk, but it's not. She's kind of like hyper stuffed.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
means that she doesn't have joints. There are no joints to manipulate or move, which kind of creates this solid base thing, which I do think does have a little something to do with how enticing to spirits. Because when you have those like very clear pieces that are cobbled together, even a spirit's like, oh, my body is in pieces. So,
Interesting. Yeah.
the concept of a whole figure, kind of like statues or statuaries or things like that, you get this idea that a spirit's like, I can inhabit this whole thing without separation, without there being like, a break between my heart and my arm and things like that.
Sure.
Oh, I'd never thought of that. That's very interesting. That would make sense.
Well, we have a 27-inch tall, angry boy. Jeb.
Yes.
And he has this same lurching stance. And surprisingly, his body is solid and packed and malleable when you touch it, but when you let go of it, he does not move. And you're like, that's so weird because he's kind of floppy when you're holding him. It feels like, oh, he's trying to get out of my hands. But when you let him go, it's just like, oh, he's there and he's going to beat me up. So but yeah, she's a fascinating piece, and
She really is.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to like.
Yeah, I'm trying to like investigate her to see if I can find any like
Well, there's like
details.
an interesting.
Velcro back.
Yeah. The way that the way that her back is kind of like hunched, in a way. It looks like someone is punching her in the stomach, because her whole body is kind of bowling over.
A part of me wonders,
Well,
Oh, Belle.
right, if she wasn't made in someone's likeness.
That's a good question. Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
yeah, we've had some of those. Remember we had two that.
We're caricatures of someone's ex-boyfriends.
Oh.
Yeah, those were fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just now noticing how incredibly long her eyelashes are.
Oh, that was one of the first things I saw. Yeah.
Ridiculously long eyelashes.
Better to stare at you with.
I guess, or to bat your eyes at.
I think with her especially, I could see why Spirit would be attracted to her because she really does have such a realistic face in the way of it feels almost human.
Right.
So
and she definitely has a presence.
Right.
She doesn't fit in. Like you couldn't like put her on a shelf and have her be just another doll. She'd be the doll that looks not quite like every other doll. Like
right.
There's something going on with that doll. Mm-hmm. Without being like overtly creepy, without like having a crack down the face or a missing eye or something. You're like, what is it about
like
this?
I don't think she was intended to be creepy. I think she was intended to be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not saying you're not pretty. That's not what we're saying. We are talking about people's reactions.
I think it's more so the reaction to her energy because
she does have an energy, absolutely.
She isn't intentionally creepy. She does because we have some dolls that are very scary upon seeing them, but it's like if you break it down, like you look at her and you're like, oh, that doll's just a pretty little doll, but she has such a presence that makes you feel uncomfortable.
There's an accumulative creepiness,
right?
It's like it just takes a little while to be like, oh, and those eyelashes, and the way she's standing.
She's a slow burn.
The way her arms are at the ready, how her arms are akimbo and ready to go, and you're like, ah.
Well, and have you found what we found is some of the ones that look different, have differences that people would think look creepy, often have positive energy.
Right.
And then some of the ones that are just really normal or pretty looking, Brian's got a violet. Have you guys seen the violets?
Goodness.
No.
So these are the shrinking violets from the 50s, 60s, right, Sarah?
1963.
Yeah. And they don't age well necessarily.
No, yeah, I can see that.
And they talk. Let me see if we can get it.
Oh God.
So
Don't like that.
That's super unsettling.
Very shy young girl would say in the 60s, I think. But
well, the eye lip movement is very unsettling.
It's
but the person that
also the placement of the ring just in the side of the head,
right in the neck.
I know they're cloth and they definitely age. And the person that brought them to us, all these violets, used them as a tool to help her get through hard days.
Oh, sure.
She worked in hospice.
Right.
This woman worked in hospice and drove us up from Central California 15 of these violets.
Wow.
She swears up and down they are all positive, supportive energy. She used to come home after a tough day in hospice and tell all of her stresses to these dolls. But
that's an internet short waiting to happen. That's
it's the eye twitch.
Eye twitch and the very sweet sound coming out of a malformed head. There's a lot going on.
Did you hear what she said? They've started doing the craziest thing. They've started making spontaneous phrases. She just said, I think she started with, I'm just afraid of everything or something. And then she ended it with, to be shy. She's combining her phrases. It's really fascinating.
I didn't catch that.
Well, over time, I imagine that whatever mechanism is kind of fraying at the sides.
Yeah, sure.
But that's an incredible piece when you think about it because it's so uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like today's parent wouldn't be walking down the toy aisle going that.
That's what my kid needs.
That's what my kid needs. That's the one.
Yeah. Well, and it's full of positive energy, but it looks not.
Sure.
Well, you
Just
figure
it
whenever
looks,
you get any artifact that was a part of someone's coping,
yeah,
the question is, did it work? Were they coping, or were they more tormented? And that probably plays out with the artifact itself. If people found comfort in them, then they become comforting things, and if people couldn't find comfort in them, they might become quite dark and sinister.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm still
She's
still pondering on Belle here.
Yeah, a wonderful definite sensation to her.
Yeah, we thought you might feel something for sure. She's very striking, and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, in her dress, I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver it, but it feels homemade.
It does feel
almost.
homemade.
And I wonder
She feels kind of homemade overall.
if her owner might have passed and she ended up at the charity shop
Oh, sure.
because of that. Yeah, because her dress is a little oversized, and she seems to have a ribbon that I don't think is original to her, but maybe just added. But
I think the person who sent her to us added that when she was fixing up her hair after
sure.
the shop she found her
Right.
in.
Right. And yeah, we're going to have to invest in a doll brush.
yeah, just a little Barbie brush.
Although since we've had her out, her hair has actually tamed down quite a bit.
Right, it's the humidity.
Yeah. Welcome to Savannah.
getting to know you, just getting to know you.
Exactly.
It comes out like a cat with her hair all sticking up.
Exactly. So
I'm also getting that, for whatever reason, the expression on her face is thoughtful, thinking, actively thinking, not the blank that you usually see in a doll, which is kind of a you're going to get the reflection of whatever emotions kind of thing, but it does look like she's plotting or planning something very specific.
or almost like
how long I'm going to be here.
exactly keeping tabs on what's going
Yeah.
on, but
Right, because there's no lightness to her expression. There's no it's a very serious looking doll.
she's very serious.
Got a very serious,
I'm interested to see how she does in the museum.
Me too, and what kind of attention she will
Attract.
get. We actually have we pulled aside it's a glass lantern that we're going to put her in.
Oh,
So
Very good.
she'll have a very nice home, and
Aw.
so
that's awesome.
she'll we've been toying with the idea of hanging it at eye level, because it's surfaces in a museum are very difficult. It's it gets very crowded, and then it feels very repetitive if everything's just lined up on something. So we're trying to create different levels and things.
That's an awesome idea. I bet she'd like that because she'd have
think
her
so.
own space but still be close to everybody.
Right.
Right.
And kind of a little taller than she would be in any other circumstance,
Right.
So,
Lording over
Right, exactly.
all the other, little
exactly.
guys.
So we'll leave Belle here in the camera, but I had some questions to ask y'all. First I wanted to ask, so I kind of touched upon it a little bit, but have you ever had an experience with a doll or an entity of a toy attachment that you didn't want to accept?
Well, so we had one called Claudia that the previous owners wouldn't actually tell us anything about it until it arrived at my house.
Oh.
So that was one that was okay. So what's going on with this? There was some interesting that one that I had part of it in my car, and the back door window would roll down on its own, and that's the one that fried the electronics. And had we known that it was that intense, we might have prepared.
Sure, yeah,
Sure.
A little bit more. But yeah, that's one that really.
Yeah, it was crazy because Claudia had a broken leg and Brian was experimenting with it because weird stuff was happening. He put the leg in his car and the rest of the doll in the house. And he's like, my back window keeps rolling down. And I
Sure.
was like, sure it does, dear. And then I saw it. His back window was rolling itself down. It was the scariest thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, your car is not the place to like experiment with this.
Yeah, it might not have been.
You don't want to be driving down the street and get a doll foot to the head. That's not.
I get excited and I don't think things through.
I mean, if somebody took your leg and just was toting it around, I could see why somebody would be upset about.
It's like,
I have to
well,
be
this
more
should be easy enough. I just need to roll the window down, get the leg.
Yeah.
That's all I need
To
to do.
find my body. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I should be more thoughtful when it comes. And that was early on.
Sure.
He was still that was one of the things that made him less of a skeptic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
100%.
Yeah. But like people joke, some of our followers tease us and say we're like spiritual or emotional Teflon. Like we're just going along, we're perfectly happy, and like evil things are trying to get us and we don't notice. But like Maria, the life-size medical dummy who's
right.
behind Brian there.
Yes.
She came to us from an experienced person who really likes creepy things. Brian, I have Maria's face.
Oh,
But the person went and picked her up, and the elder, the woman who had owned Maria, was speaking to her like a person, like, goodbye, Maria, have fun. I'm sorry you have to leave me. And had her for a long time. And then on the drive home, they got into a car crash with Maria.
Oh, Lord.
And then and they were okay. Everyone ended up okay in the end, and took Maria home, and just her intensity was way too much. Like
Sure.
she was just a lot. Maria is a lot. But we've had pretty good luck with her. We've kept her for quite a while now because people like to see and sort of interact with her
sure.
and feel the energy. And she does move. Maria moves.
Sure.
Yeah. Everything.
All that
moves on her.
articulation, right?
Right.
No, I mean, like she'll move on her own. Like her
That's
head
amazing.
will move,
Yeah.
or like something will move. Like it's crazy.
Wow. So when you get toys, you're fine. When you get toys like that, do you have a process of how you prepare to have this doll, or do you go through some type of ritual?
Well, yeah. Depending on the story we get from, if it's kind of a seriously spooky or scary story that's coming with the doll or toy, then we will keep it away from the others for a second, and reach out to some people who may know more, about its presence.
Yeah, if we notice anything weird, we always go back to the person who sent it and are like, okay, what do you know about this?
We need
also-
more
we
info.
also-
Yeah.
Yeah. We're careful who we put it around. Like Brian is the most durable. I am the second most durable, and the children are like the not as durable. And so we choose its placement really carefully for at least a little while.
Or
Smart.
I mean, and that makes sense, especially if you aren't overly familiar with the activity that this doll or entity can do. You don't want to put yourselves at risk in that way.
Right.
Do you
It
have?
seems like lots of times people will downplay their story a little bit sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially when they're dropping it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
there's
gonna
nothing
be
to worry
fine,
about
guys.
here. That's not blood.
There you
I'm just going to
go.
leave.
It's so true. Because
Please don't fail me now.
exactly. I think that's because it's like if you're at the point where you're giving the item away, it's obviously done something disturbing.
Yeah,
at least to an average person. But
it's already warranted being given away. So
Right.
We always say there's 3 reasons people send us stuff: love, guilt, or fear. Almost everything that comes our way falls into one of those categories.
interesting.
so, what's the process of donating an item to y'all?
People just contact us by email, a lot of times over Instagram, and are like, hey, I've got this thing. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think you'll want this. It's not fancy or expensive, but it's terrorizing me. And we're like, that's exactly what we want.
Right. Yeah. It's weird when people get into their mind that it has to be a special kind of doll, or it's it has to be a porcelain face doll, or it has to be this, or it has to be that. It's like no, literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
There was that short period of time when there was a Tickle Me Elmo.
Oh my gosh.
That was very frightening and going around. It's like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be an Elmo doll? That's perfectly terrifying.
My sister had a haunted Teletubby when we were kids. So,
We had a haunted. What are those, dear? The
Haunted yo-yo.
Yo-yo. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We did. Someone sent us a haunted yo-yo at one point when we were kind of new. They were just like, keep this away from me.
What did the yo-yo do?
It just bad luck.
That was just somebody who could not yo-yo.
You're
Every time he tried to walk the dog, just hit himself in the face.
Yo-yo.
Yeah.
That's funny, Sarah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Oh my God.
It knocked over my lamp.
It's like every time I pull it out, someone gets hit.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not as coordinated as we think we are.
Always a possibility.
But it really can be anything. We've had that Discord a few times where we always say it seems that dolls are like the most common
Absolutely.
toy that's haunted. And our theory is that because it has such a human-like form, it's the closest thing to feeling like a human.
And the interaction that
Right.
people will talk to it and interact with it and have kind of like this relationship with it that is very, enticing to a spirit that is incorporeal and doesn't have any ability to affect the physical world. It's like, well, that's a physical being. That's a physical thing in the world. People are paying attention to it and talk to it. Like the Resuscitation Annie, the doll behind you, the fact that somebody would treat it like a human, it gives you that notion that that's something that it can become very acquainted with. Even in the most like non-haunted way, if you're just pouring that much attention and energy over it, when that attention and energy is gone, you can imagine that the absence of it can cause a stirring of energy within the item. We talk about antiques a lot, antiques that sit in people's homes for decades and decades and decades, just kind of associating itself with that family's energy. And then when it's pulled out of that environment, it's going to have friction wherever it goes. It's going to sit in another area that doesn't have the same energy. And it's just not going to jive the same way. And it's not about like, there's an evil spirit in there. It's just, well, that used to be, it used to be a house that had all this very specific type of energy, and we put it in another house that did not have that energy. And now there's kind of this clash of energies that might come off as haunting or uneasiness, or when you're near it, you're like, that item is just weird. And it's like, well, maybe it's not a spirit. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just the fact that for a long, long time, that item was in a devout Catholic house, and then you took it out and put it into a Presbyterian house, and now it's like, wait, I'm not following with this jive.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. Yeah,
I feel like a mourning doll would be
the
most likely.
We actually had like 2 different mourning dolls in our orbit, but there's a part of it that's like, I don't know that I really want to have and display a mourning doll because of its purpose and what it was there for, and you're like, I'm having, as a matter of fact, we have a friend who made a movie in which a mourning doll was involved, and that was a prop, and so we're like, oh, we'll get that, we'll try to get that and put it on display, but they can be very eerie.
They are.
They're just like, what
Yeah, you know
what comfort
what
it
it's
brought to
used
someone else
for.
really freaks me out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we had one, and when we used to do the Savannah Underground, which was like an immersive horror show, and we did the story of Alice Riley, which was a woman who was executed shortly after giving birth. And so we had this mourning doll to represent the baby, and it was so realistic that I'm like, and it feels as heavy as a child,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's like, I always thought, I'm like, oh man, this thing would be perfect for a ghost to be like, that's it.
Right. There it is.
I want to be that. But
Take care of me.
so besides the yo-yo, what's the strangest haunted object that you've ever received?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think
There's been a few weird ones. I've got one here. This is the peddler woman. It took me so long to figure out what was going on here. She's an apple.
Yeah.
She's a very, very
Wow.
old
That's
apple.
old German doll making where they'd use fruit as I used to actually
And-
have one of those.
And if you look, the doll has a tray of dolls.
That's so cool.
It's-
She's
And
a-
dominoes.
Yeah, all sorts of. If the longer you look, the more detailed it gets. But some of these handmade ones, where like the maker has put some of themselves into her, we get lots of, or like here's a pantyhose doll, also handmade.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we have like we've received probably 15 of these handmade ones of different varieties that just have so much presence and are so interesting in their details. Like you never know what you're going to notice next
Yeah.
when you get one of these.
They're just absolutely my favorites. Something that is unique. It's I love that.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's incredible. And yeah, finding those handmade items is always so interesting. I used to live in Germany, and we go to an outdoor market, and we would constantly buy these things, and I don't know why, because none of us liked them. But my dad and mom, they were like, "Oh, we should get these," but they were made of dates. So like it was like dolls, but like their faces were dates, their heads were dates, and there were a couple of apple-headed things. And it's just weird because you're a kid, and it's like that's obviously food, and but it's also obviously a doll. However, I'm told not to touch it or eat it. It's like it's not for you, and it's like, why did you buy a little date human being in his lederhosen, and I'm not supposed to chew on it? And it's like it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be as a kid. Like, what am I supposed to do?
It's so confusing.
The apple lady, though, she
Yeah.
is eerie.
That is the kind of thing that you'd see in a horror movie. It's
Yeah.
a perfect like
You see
folk
her-
horror thing.
Do you see her red lips?
Yeah.
And her glasses?
Yeah, it's incredible. And if I had seen that, like just out in the wild, I would definitely be like, oh yeah, that's wrong.
There's something off. Well, she looks like
Yeah,
she's been
there's-
through a fire.
Look, I mean, it took me a while to figure out she was apple. I was kind of afraid of what she was
Right,
for a
because
while.
it's
'cause
fleshy,
like
right?
Right.
yeah, well, she's kind of firm, but there's like a white sort of outer layer, and then the red lips, and then the dark underlayer.
Right. Yeah. That's eerie.
Wow.
Yeah, she came from another avid collector who was just like, "Oh, this is not what I thought I was getting."
Right.
What did you think when you were getting rotten apple baby?
Yeah, she's got a lot more presence than you would expect.
Oh, sure,
Like,
sure.
Right.
Do you have any items that you still currently have in your collection that you want to be adopted out, or is there any in particular that you?
Are we doing the
had this
the
one
rescue,
named
the
Belle.
doll rescue?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Sarah. We did.
Here's Belle. She likes to go out every day. She's crate trained, and she will
yeah, have a great time with her.
she doesn't bite
Yet.
hard.
But keep her alone inside of a glass
Yeah.
case.
And brush her hair.
Brush her hair, for God's sakes. We will get you a brush, a special brush just for you.
But Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, but is there an object?
I can't, you know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that is, I feel the need for it to leave my presence, you know? Uh,
Yeah,
right
when
now.
we get the ones like Belle or the ones that really make us uncomfortable, we turn them around pretty quick. The ones that stay with us are the ones that we're comfortable having around.
Yeah.
Totally. So when you're pairing somebody with a haunted object, what kind of things are you looking for in a person to give them their soulmate haunted doll?
Well, some of these objects don't do well with animals, you know,
Oh,
or
sure.
you know, if one has a particularly scary backstory that about, you know, making children cry, will steer someone away, you know, things like that. Uh,
The process has been such a learning curve because when we started, we were like, oh, is it haunted or not? You know, like, but my gosh, the number of ways things can go awry. The number one thing that we beg people to do is please ask your partner if you can adopt a haunted toy.
Yes, my wife will not allow haunted items in the house. That's why I have a museum.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
right.
Because
Not a
yeah,
puppy
you know,
dies.
you're not allowed. You're not allowed to have haunted items in the house. So yeah, if I had brought this home, I would be in the doghouse. Yeah.
yeah, like people will take like a doll with a really horrifying backstory and be like, look what I got. And, like they come right back to us. Like,
Well, he said no.
yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, so we really need people to talk to their partners. We need to look at its history with pets, like Brian said, and its history with kids, like Brian said. You know, some people will actually do a reading, like a psychic reading or a meet and greet, sort of over either in person if they're local enough, or over Zoom like this, and just so that they can see because energies and what you're bringing into your home. You know, everyone doesn't have to want positive energy, but you do want an energy that fits what you're looking for.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So, have y'all ever had any investigations that you've done with your collection to see what comes through?
Neither of us claims to be very experienced in this. We're more like the middle person, but we do have people, you know, like I mentioned, a psychic who would come and look at the collection, and a lot of like people who identify as psychics but aren't working as a psychic. Like to come and just interact with them and sort of, you know, see what they can tell and see if what they're feeling matches with what other people have been feeling. And it's almost a good way for some people to practice their skills.
It is absolutely, and it's funny because that's kind of what the museum offers is like be in close proximity to things that people purport are very haunted, without having to have it in your home or having to handle it or deal with it yourself. We've grown to rely very heavily on a local psychic who has proven himself time and time again to be just prescient enough to really key in on these objects. And it's like, oh, well, you know, yeah, and I will definitely call him in to take a look at Belle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because
That's awesome.
We can't wait to see the museum.
Yeah.
it's very exciting. There's some super interesting pieces in there. Really frightening pieces. There's the mirror thing that we were kind of joking about earlier. Came in broken. It's a really haunted mirror, and it has been causing all sorts of chaos since its arrival.
There's been a lot of discomfort around the mirror.
Oh goodness. What are you going to like replace or repair the glass or just
So
stabilize
no, we
it?
actually ended up like putting clear epoxy in the cracks, and we hung
Nice.
it because it still retains the essence of what made it so haunted and what made it such an interesting piece. And then we were actually given salt that was a mixture, an entire mixture made from from an original recipe from the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, used and utilized around mirrors specifically to keep people from falling into like a, I keep using like the term narcissist demon kind of situation where people can become obsessed with their own reflection or things like that. So the salt is supposed to help repel that specific kind of thing. So yeah, we were
braver than me.
We were lucky enough to have someone right on hand to be like, oh yeah, that's bad, and here's what you do. It's like, oh good, because I'm relatively book smart on hauntings and haunted things and things like that, but I'm not overly sensitive at all. I don't have any, psychic abilities. I have a lot of paranoias, but paranoias don't always translate, directly to protection.
Right.
Yeah.
So I keep getting a whiff of a very specific candy. It's weird. It's bitter honey.
Oh.
There's like a smell of bitter honey, and I think it's coming off of Belle. But it's weird. It's like somebody has eaten it and just blew it in my face, like their breath. Bitter honey breath.
We forgot to tell you that that's one of the things that we do is we like to rub bit of honey.
Rub bit of honey all over. It's like maybe the bugs will come.
Just a little sweet surprise.
It's very weird. It's very strong.
That is super strange. Yeah. I'll be interested to see if her activity ramps up at all. And we'll definitely report back to y'all.
Yeah,
if
we'll keep you posted.
But Brian and Sara, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate y'all being here. And for all of y'all who are listening and the Pair Junkies who are live streaming, sorry that we could not see your comments today. All of our cords are taken out today.
Well, we got the Q&A coming, so
exactly.
I got them all right here.
All right, perfect. So yes, if you're a Pair Junkie watching on the live stream, make sure to stick around for the Q&A that is coming up next in the fix. But otherwise, if you are new here, thank you for joining us for today's episode. If you're not new here, thank you again. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day whenever you are listening to this. And Brian, Sara, where can they find you on social media if they want to follow y'all?
We have got the same handle everywhere. Apparently, we are the only people who want to be Unsettling Toys. So we are Unsettling Toys on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
Gmail.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, yes, if y'all have a haunted object that you want to send over to Brian.
Or if you're looking for a haunted object.
Or if you're looking to adopt something, hit them up and see what they have, or just follow them in general to see creepy dolls and toys all the time. So there you go. And if you don't already follow us on social media, you can find us under Haunted City Podcasts on all the things. And don't forget to check out our true crime podcast from One to Wicked. We have some really cool episodes coming up because we have a giant stack of letters written by serial killers that we are making our way through. So if you're into that sort of thing, go check us out on that. But with that, my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And stay spooky, y'all.